Hi everyone, my name is Freddie Gabrasek and I'm here today. I'm excited to start a new series, a new video series on building Les Paul, building bursts. And so this is going to be the first stage, and I'm going to try to post a weekly video of the progress right from the beginning of the build right to the end. So here we are, and it is fall in 2016, and I'm in the sunroom here. There's the shop outside with all the machinery. So the first thing, let's take a look at what I've got here. This is maple for the tops of the Les Paul. This is what's known as sugar maple or hard maple, and it is figured. It is curly. What I'm going to do is show you my process on how I laid out where I'm picking the pattern for the top. So I went to one of my favorite lumber stores named Exotic Woods in Burlington, Ontario. That's where I picked up this maple. I had my buddy Mel there keep an eyeball out for, I asked him for the nicest looking hard maple he's got. And he found this piece. It was a 2-inch thick, or as they say, 8/4. And I had them bandsaw it down the middle, split it open, and so this is what I ended up with. Check it out. Woo! All right. So you might notice now that this doesn't look like a lot of the typical flame maple you see on guitars, where they're like pencil straight lines, or some call them barbecue lines. No, this is sugar maple, and so it doesn't have that uniformity, but the reason I chose it is because it's hard. It's really hard and dense. The other stuff that you typically see that makes a really, really pretty uniform top on a guitar, that stuff is generally either Western flame maple, big leaf maple, or even sometimes Eastern red maple. But this is the sugar maple, and I like it primarily because of really just the hardness and what it's going to contribute to the tone of the guitar. And I do like the look of it too. There's a shimmer, a chatoyance that it has that I don't think the others do have. But anyway, let's take a look at how I went about choosing which pieces I liked. So the first thing I did was I have here my Les Paul body template, and from this I used a piece of cardboard and cut out a window of half a body, as you can see here. So what this did is it enabled me to just place this window all over the board to find a spot that I like the pattern of. And it could go this way or this way, doesn't matter which way I go, because the book match, in fact, this doesn't have to be the center seam. This can also be the center seam, the outside edge. Just fold it up, or open it up the other way. So the first piece that I found was this one right here. I don't know if you can see that very well on camera, but when I laid my window template down, there it is. So that's the pattern we're looking at. Let me just throw a little bit of naphtha on there so you can see it. It highlights the grain a little bit better. Yeah. Look at that. And with the template on it, somewhere around there, that'll be just a classic patterned Les Paul top. All right, let's go on to my second choice. A little bit more naphtha. Now this one I had a little bit more of a hard time deciding exactly where to go with this because of these two big blemishes. That one there and this one here. So what I did was I oriented the template so that this blemish is going to end up right in the neck pickup route, and this blemish is going to end up right where the tailpiece post is. So I'm good. These other tiny little blemishes here, they're around the rim where the burst is going to be anyway, so that really does mitigate that. And that's another really lovely bit of figure on that board. Now we'll get to one that's really kind of wild. Check this one out. This one's kind of crazy. Some people like this kind of thing, some people don't. I think it looks awesome. I think it's going to be wild on a guitar. Yeah. And the last one, this is kind of another, just a classic, nothing too crazy, but just a nice figure. I'm running out of naphtha here, so it's not getting too soaked, but here's the next one. Check it out. All right, so now we move on to cutting these things out and joining them. All right, so I've got all the pieces cut out. Here's one. What we're going to do now is actually cut them to the center line. As you can see, the center line is not along this edge. It's here where I put the window. This is where I want center seam. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut these pieces down to just a little proud of the center line and finish by planing them down. Right, so this is how I'm going to stack these two pieces together so that when I cut them, I'm going to cut them both at the same time. And we'll get the center line on both pieces. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to index these guys so that they will stay together, because we're going to cut them both at the same time. And the way I'm going to do that is by simply putting in a couple of index pins. I'm just going to drill in some index pins, like so. So I'll line this up, nice and flush on the bottom and on the end here. And I've just got, looks like about a 3/16 drill bit. Drill down, put it in reverse, and leave the drill bit in there. So there's my index pin on one end. And same thing on the other end. Get this flush again. Put it in reverse. There we go. Now these guys are pinned together, and I can bandsaw to the line and then push them through the jointer. Right, spent some time this morning to fine-tune this jointer. Put some new, fresh, sharpened blades in there. Set up the outfeed table, tuned it, fine-tuned it perfect. Here we go. So here it is as it came out of the jointer. The joint is not bad. It's pretty good. However, you know, the real test is holding the joint together and then holding it up to a source of light. You should not see any light, not even a tiny sliver through it. And so, you know, there is a little bit of gap showing here and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch it up now with a hand plane. So we'll check how true that is. But you know, one other thing too is the difference in the feel of the joint after using a hand plane. This is smooth as glass. The edges here are so sharp I could probably easily cut myself. This is what I want for any kind of joinery, really. Even though this is not a critical structural joint, because, you know, obviously the whole top is glued to the mahogany, so it's not like the joint is, if it fails, it's going to, nothing's going to happen. But you know, whenever I look at a joint, you can tell if it wasn't a tight joint when it was put together. You see a little black line. That black line is the gap. You're looking at the gap, or the glue in the gap. What you want to see is no line, no black line whatsoever. Just a transition from one figure and pattern of wood to suddenly a different one. Alright, look what we have here. I was just planing the other side now, and I uncovered this blemish. And this is, I don't know if you can see the pencil line, this is the lower bout of the guitar. So it's going to be, this is where the carve is going to start to happen. And that blemish is going to poke through, so I don't want that, it's no good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep planing until I get rid of that blemish, and then I'll have to plane the other side as well, so that we maintain the book match center line.
You got the whole plank all the way down?
Yeah, all the way down. It's like that cartoon when they're making the toothpicks out of the redwood trees.
Toothpick out of the big...
No, I'm getting rid of that blemish there.
Oh.
Seems to be a deep one.
That's a nasty one.
I see it's coming out of the other side here. I've probably got another 1/16 of an inch to go. Alright, so I've got the blemish down to where it's not going to matter. Way down there. The carve won't go anywhere near there. So now, what I'm going to do is put the two pieces together and candle them. That's what this process is called. I've already planed the other side of this with a hand plane as well. And put them together. And here with I've got a 200 watt light bulb. I'm going to put the light bulb behind the joint and just take a look. And so what I can see, I think maybe the camera can see this as well. Well, it's not, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but what I'm looking at is it's a little bit proud, a little bit high in the middle. So I'm seeing a little bit of light on each end. And this is typical with a hand plane, that it leaves a little hump in the middle. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of selective planing, where I just focus on, I start at the end with very light pressure, and then as I get towards the middle, apply some real pressure and then let go. And we'll try that again, same process, candling with the light bulb. And still a bit of a gap. And actually, I can actually feel it too. It's just rocking a little bit on high point in here. Once more, and well, that feels good. You can just feel the surface tension, eh? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I see nothing. I see no light. I think this one is good. We'll call that one done. Ready to glue. Nice bead of glue, courtesy of my dad. High-tech glue squeegee.
Yeah.
Yeah, squeegee glue.
Something there. Not wanted. There we go.
Looks good. Okay, line these guys up. You clamp, and I'll make sure this is flush. Okay, not bad. And wait a second, undo that one a little bit. We shifted a little here. Okay, go ahead, go again. Looks good. Looks good. Don't tighten it yet. Let's put this one on. So we put the middle clamp on so that it prevents this joint from bowing up from the two clamps underneath.
But clean the glue off.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mark up.
Yeah, that's true.
Wood.
Now, for those of you who have ever glued oak together, oak is terrible if you get the iron. If you get the iron of the clamp with the glue
on fresh glue.
On fresh glue, it'll make a black mark. How are we looking? Looks good. Beautiful squeeze out. That's what we want to see. All right.
Good.
All right, that's it for today. We've got all the pieces glued and clamped. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what you're watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.